boom, you've shot it down. When that's going down, oh, wait, weren't that the British? Oh, we've shot the British! You know what I mean? What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's reaction video is going to be the most feared fighter jet of the Vietnam War, the F-4 Phantom. Now, on this channel, as you guys potentially are aware, we've been doing a lot of modern aircrafts, futuristic aircrafts, modern aircraft carriers and stuff like that. It's been absolutely mental. Like, I've been learning so much about not only the US as a military power and some of their weapons they have at their disposal, but what is to come in the future. But this one was suggested to me by Arctic on Discord, and it pretty much is a blast from the past, I guess. I don't know much about it, but apparently it was the most feared jet in the Vietnam War, and we're going to play maybe a little bit of a tribute, you could say, to an awesome fighter jet from previously, the F-4 Phantom. If you've got any experiences or any stories to tell, let me know in the comments. If you know more about it than this video tells, let me know in the comments, guys. Let me know if you want to see this kind of content as well, where we're not only looking at the new modern stuff, we have a little bit look in the past and see what potentially helped the United States, Great Britain, so that win certain wars, and what was dominant for its time. If that makes sense. Smash that subscribe button if you're new around it, I'd seriously appreciate it. Smash that like button as well, you absolute legends. And let's see why the F-4 Phantom was the most feared jet of the Vietnam War.
The F-4 Phantom is often regarded as the deadliest fighter in Vietnam. This tandem, two-seat, twin-engine, all-weather, long-range supersonic jet interceptor
it looks a
fighter
beast.
Bomber became one of the Vietnam War's most recognizable and feared planes.
Okay.
The Phantom first entered service in 1961 with the Navy. After proving to be highly adaptable, it was also flown by the Marine Corps and the United States Air Force. Everyone wanted to fly this jet, capable of Mach 2.2 speeds.
Yeah, it looks like an absolute beast.
During its 4 decades of active service in the United States' 3 air arms, the aircraft set 16 world performance records.
Wow.
More adversaries than any other U.S. fighter in the Vietnam War.
Literally the deadliest.
Eventually,
wow.
The Phantom entered service with 15 other militaries across the world. Some of those F-4s still fly today.
Look at that, man.
An iconic US
wow.
fighter of the Vietnam War era, there's no doubt why the F-4 Phantom became one of the most feared aircraft of its time.
I mean, as well, like, the fact that this was quite a long time ago, that looks proper badass and quite technology advanced. You know what I mean? I'm keen to learn about this, man.
Yes, no, maybe. In 1952, engineer Dave Lewis was appointed design manager at McDonnell Aircraft Corporation.
Okay.
Without any aircraft requests for proposals on the horizon, McDonnell's internal studies concluded that the Army would benefit from a new attack fighter. The following year, the company began revising and increasing their F-3H Demon fighter jet's overall performance. One of the versions even promised a speed of Mach 1.97.
Okay, not as fast as the F-4 Phantom, though.
In September 1952,
wow, look at
McDonnell
that.
presented their new and improved Super Demon. The Navy was interested enough to order a full-scale mock-up, but canceled the project because they believed the Grumman XF-9F9 and the Vought XF-8U1 already filled the need for a supersonic fighter.
Okay.
So instead of starting another project from scratch, McDonnell reworked their design into a fighter bomber. In October 1954, the aircraft company received a letter of intent for 2 of these prototypes. But when the Navy showed up at the McDonnell's St. Louis headquarters, they presented the company with a new set of requirements. Since they already had the steady Douglas A-4 Skyhawk and F-8 Crusader for dogfighting purposes, the Navy now needed an all-weather fleet defense interceptor. To this new design, McDonnell added a second crewman to operate the powerful radar, since Dave Lewis believed that air combat would overload pilots traveling solo.
I like that. To be fair, it's quite smart. I like that. Especially back then, I guess, thinking about it, they don't have the technology to aid in kind of, if the aircraft's gone off course or something like that, or something's going wrong, it can kind of fix itself nowadays. But back then, if you're occupied and someone's shooting at you, it would be quite handy having someone behind you to actually direct the plane potentially. Like, so I do rate that. It's smart thinking back then.
The Phantom. The Phantom was powered by 2 GE turbojets, each generating close to 18,000 pounds of thrust with its afterburners lit.
Wow.
Although a relatively large fighter, it was capable of a top speed of Mach 2.2. Since 1959, the Phantom set 15 world records for in-flight performance, including an absolute speed record and an absolute altitude record.
Yeah, it's an all-rounder. What a beast.
The F-4 could hold up to 18,000 pounds of weapons, such as air-to-air and air-to-ground missiles, and different types of bombs. Like other interceptors of the Vietnam War era, the Phantom was initially designed without an internal cannon. Because it was a peculiar jet, pilots had a love-hate relationship with the Phantom. It had none of the attractive and newfangled features some of the fighters of its generation usually had, save for one big secret, but more on that later.
Okay.
Although the jet carried an internal navigation system, there was no flight management system, no GPS, no electronic flight instrument system, and no voice system to alert the pilot of upcoming hazards.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've been saying it looks badass, and like I was saying about the technology, that's why I've got someone else, but it does seem like it is missing quite a lot. But it's breaking records left, right, and centre, so on performance, it's like, yeah, it does the job, but maybe not the pilot's best friend, it seems like, let's say that.
Navigation, bombing, missile shooting, firing the gun, being on the lookout for problems. The tandem team of the Phantom was busy every second they were up in the air. Pilots had to spend a lot of their time with their heads buried down, analyzing and interpreting the instrument's data.
Oh, wow.
This isn't common practice with today's modern aircraft, since their display screens are now overhead of the instrument panel. The deadliest fighter in Vietnam. The Phantom made its first flight on May 27, 1958, with test pilot Robert C. Little at the controls.
Okay.
After its maiden flight, the jet was used extensively during the late stages of the Vietnam War.
Impressed that much, it's like, yeah, let's get it in.
The F-4 soon became the principal air superiority fighter for the Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps. It was a staple in ground attack and aerial recon roles.
Look at that, man.
One Air Force pilot, 2 weapon systems officers, 1 Navy pilot, and 1 radar intercept officer became aces by achieving 5 aerial kills aboard their Phantoms. When the Phantom was adopted by the USAF in 1963, their variant was dubbed the F-4C. The Navy's Phantoms flew their first combat sortie on August 5, 1964, as part of Operation Pierce Arrow.
Okay.
The Phantom's first great air-to-air victory happened in April 1965, when Lieutenant Terrence Murphy and his radar officer, Ensign Ronald Fagan, shot down a Chinese MiG-17. As fighter interceptors, the Navy's Phantoms downed 40 enemy aircraft. In comparison, they only suffered 5 losses.
That's not a bad ratio, you know. That's not
the Marine
bad.
Corps' F-4 serviced from both carriers and land bases during the war. Flying ground support missions, their F-4s claimed 3 kills, but lost 75 of their aircraft, most of them to ground fire.
Oh, wow.
And even though the Air Force was the last branch to adopt the Phantom, they eventually became its largest user. In Vietnam, the Air Force's Phantoms flew air superiority and ground support roles. As F-105 Thunder Chief's losses grew, the F-4 began to carry more ground support. By the end of the war, the Phantom was the USAF's primary all-around aircraft.
I mean, it's meant over the fact that it came from... There's already got stuff, like, there were aircraft which already did the job. It had to be redesigned so many times, and then it was like, pilots weren't the biggest fan of it. It weren't the newest technology and stuff like that, but yeah, it's just rise was, once I start using it, but like, yeah, this plane is badass. We've got to use it more, so fair play.
Combat tree. The Phantom was the first aircraft fitted with the APX-80, a top-secret and supposedly game-changing technology.
Okay.
Better known by its codename Combat Tree, this feature was installed on a select number of Phantoms, which would fly in hunter-killer teams with other Phantoms equipped with internal rotary cannons. The device's exact details of operations are still classified as F-20.
Oh, wow.
However, there is some knowledge available on how Phantom air crews used it. Instead of using a radar scanner on the jet's nose, the weapon system officers behind the pilot would use Combat Tree to spot the specialized transponders built into Vietnam's aircrafts. These transponders would relay a code to the scanners built into their surface-to-air missiles and ground control interception computers. They allowed Vietnam to distinguish between their own fighters and the marauding American aircraft.
Wow.
Combat Tree determined the allegiance of other aircraft by receiving an automatic response from their transponder, which revealed whether the plane was allied or not.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
The device would accurately plot the quarry's location on display located in the Phantom's rear cockpit.
Yeah, do you know what? Again, I was saying about the technology. That's pretty mental technology, especially at that time. The fact that instantly going up to a plane, before it's shooting at you, before you've engaged with it, you know, okay, that ain't one of ours. That ain't an ally. That's coming to kill me. If something happens, a dogfight's kicking off, you know, it's that warning. And then it means you don't accidentally shoot, like, a teammate down, pretty much, an ally down. Which, again, please let me know in the comments, but did that happen often? I imagine it probably did. You see a plane in the distance, it potentially pops one shot at you because you don't know who you are. You pop one back, you haven't noticed what kind of plane it is yet. Boom, you've shot it down. When that's going down, oh, wait, weren't that the British? Oh, we've shot the British! You know what I mean? It's like, I imagine that potentially happened quite a lot. I may be wrong, but please let me know in the comments.
Then, the hunt for the enemy pilot would begin. Meanwhile, the Vietnamese pilot would have no idea all this had happened.
Wow.
This method allowed Phantom pilots to engage Vietnamese MiG-21s at greater distances, even beyond their visual range.
Yep. Also, it has that.
Before combat
beyond
troops,
the visual range,
all US
fair
fighter
play.
pilots flying in Vietnamese skies had to get physically close to enemy MiGs to obtain a positive identification on enemy aircraft before attacking them.
Got you.
Since standard radars at the time only determined if aircraft were around, a visual identification was required to establish whether they were allies. Thus, Combat Tree improved the margin of safety for American pilots by allowing them to identify enemy aircraft before they unknowingly engaged the deadly MiG fighters.
Yeah, but then just shot at them like, yeah, that's right, you're going down. I know you're not an ally, man.
When the Vietnamese Air Force found out about the existence of this revolutionary technology, they were puzzled. They didn't quite know what it was or how it functioned. Their highest-ranking North Vietnamese officials noticed a devastating increase of attrition rates with their fighters, especially those who ran into US Air Force fighter jets.
Oh, wow. What a game changer, man.
Dozens of MiG-21s were reportedly being engaged at distances never seen before, and with deadly accuracy. Eventually, radio transmissions between pilots, intercepted by picket stations, were able to pinpoint the reason behind the suddenly high MiG loss rate North Vietnamese aircraft were sustaining. Unbeknownst to them, their own transponders were giving away their locations. By the end of the Vietnam War in 1975, Combat Tree was responsible for attributing the US Air Force with several crucial wins against North Vietnamese aircraft.
Yeah, that is mental. Like, just adding one simple... Well, it's not simple, it's super technological, you know? It is, like, super smart, and I definitely wouldn't be able to do it. But I suppose in terms of warfare, you just add something to detect what kind of plane it is, and it's made a huge difference in meaning they win crucial dogfights, potentially helping them gain more territory, more control, and dampen the mood of the enemy, you know what I mean? Like, wow, just a simple thing added. Not simple, but you know what I'm saying. Just can completely be a game changer. Wow.
A beloved jet. After Vietnam, the Phantom continued to be the Navy and Air Force's aircraft of choice.
Okay.
Throughout the 1970s, the US Navy began replacing the F-4 with the newer F-14 Tomcat. By 1986, all Phantoms had been removed from frontline units. However, the aircraft continued to service the Marine Corps until 1992, until it was substituted by the FA-18 Hornet.
I mean, it's absolutely badass, but I guess with technology building up and maybe the Combat Tree, there may be technology like that. There is technology like that nowadays, which is more advanced, more technical. Once that kind of gets us past, it's kind of like there's not really as much as a need for it anymore. We've got all the other technology which it's lacking in an aircraft, and we have the Combat Tree potentially even upgraded technology. It's not needed as much, so it makes sense how it kind of quite quickly got eroded out of it, but at the time it seems like a game changer.
Through the 1970s and 1980s, the Air Force transitioned from the F-4 to the F-15 Eagle and F-16 Fighting Falcon. During this time, the Air Force used the F-4 Phantom II in both reconnaissance and Wild Weasel roles in the Gulf War.
Okay.
Finally, the jet was retired from service in 1996.
96, wow. It lasted quite a while,
Eventually,
though, to be fair.
The Phantom became the only aircraft used by the Air Force's Thunderbirds and the Navy's Blue Angels, America's two flight demonstration teams. Overall, 5,195 Phantoms were built, and it became one of the most successful fighter aircraft since World War II.
Nice.
The United States wasn't the only country to benefit from the F-4's incredible speed. A total of 1,200 new and retired Phantoms were bought by other nations. The Israeli Phantoms participated in several Arab-Israeli conflicts, and Iran used their extensive fleet of F-4s in the Iran-Iraq War.
Yeah, that's such a US thing, isn't it? It's like, yeah, we don't need these anymore, retire them, we've got something better, someone else can buy them, and then someone else comes in and buys them, and they're super useful for them. But the US is just sitting there like, we've upgraded ours. Enjoy them all you want, we got better ones. Like, fair play.
About 800 F-4s still fly today in Germany, Greece, Spain, Turkey,
Israel,
wow, Japan, South Korea, and Egypt.
Fair play.
When a fighter jet is sold to all three of the US's air arms, The large amount of produced aircraft usually reduces the cost per unit. But the Phantom, its vast overseas sales lowered the price even more.
Nice.
As of 2020, 62 years after its maiden flight, the Phantom is still going strong. Despite its shaky start at the McDonnell headquarters, it eventually became one of the most flexible and prolific fighters of its time.
Fair play. And even though it got retired from the US, we know the US are moving mad on military and stuff like that, it's still going strong in 2020. You know what I mean? For other countries, yes, maybe not countries with the military as strong as the US, but it's still doing a job. So it's incredible, you know what I mean? It's one of them where you go, it was put in at this time and it's still going today, even lacking the technology because it's that good. Fair play, man, fair
Although
play.
not entirely aesthetically pleasant, the Phantom was loved by many.
I mean, it looks
Even
beastly.
if its original purpose was not a fighter interceptor, just like the Ugly Duckling story, the Phantom redeemed itself. The F-4 holds the record for the largest production of a supersonic jet aircraft in the US, and the second in the world, behind Russia's MiG-21, with a whopping 10,000 units built for numerous conflicts.
Wow.
If they gave awards to aircraft for enduring service, McDonnell's F-4 Phantom would definitely be one of the winners.
Fair play. There you go. That was pretty awesome. The most feared fighter jet of the Vietnam War, the F-4 Phantom. If you want me to check out any more videos on this channel, let me know in the comments. Again, it was something a little bit different. We're normally reacting to something new coming up, so it's like mind-blowing. We haven't seen this technology before. But for someone who doesn't really know about these planes, these aircrafts of the past, and I'm still learning, it's pretty awesome to see, to be honest with you, and see how it's kind of developed over time, and how potentially it's still being used today, like in the F-4 Phantom's case. Now, there's a video on screen, the insanely armed, briefly feared, abandoned Soviet aircraft cruisers. That seems pretty sick. So this channel obviously has quite a lot of insane content. So if you want me to check that out, let me know in the comments. Anything else, let me know in the comments, guys. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button as well. You're absolute legends. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.